Hello, my name is Leon Sultan. I'm a teacher of AP Human Geography at Abraham Lincoln High School in San Francisco, California. Welcome to the lecture on immigration streams in the late 20th century. Similar to some other lectures, this is what is called a stimulus lecture because you have a visual stimulus, in this case a map that you're going to need to interpret. Okay, the map is displayed here on the title slide and it contains a diagram of major migration streams, and they're all labeled by letter. So we're going to explore a few of these in depth and relate them to certain geographical concepts. Just a quick announcement before we get into the lecture. Images in this lecture refer to a film that we watched in my class called Sin Nombre. The film is by a filmmaker named Cary Fukunaga, and I highly recommend the film. It's an excellent film that realistically deals with the challenges and themes of immigration, including many of the themes that we will be discussing in this lecture. Okay, so let's take a look. This is the title of the map, Selected Migration Patterns in the Late 20th Century. So important to note the title of any map or graphic that we're given. Late 20th century, so we know we're dealing with the 1980s, 1990s, and that time period. We're dealing with the whole world, and we're dealing with migration streams. So the question here really is define each term and then relate each term to a different stream. The terms are push-pull factors, kinship links, chain migration, immigration wave, and distance decay. So we'll start with definitions. Define each term. Well, I'm actually not going to give you the definitions in this lecture because those are readily available online, and I recommend you use a site called Quizlet to look these up. Down at the bottom is a link, and if you click on a link, you'll get all of the Chapter 3 migration terms, so you can look those up. And my recommendation when memorizing terms is not to memorize them word for word, but to memorize them in your own words so that you can replicate them more easily and more naturally on the AP exam. Okay, so part A of the question will be to define each term. Part B of the question is going to be to relate each term to a different stream on the map. So what that means is for each term you have to pick a different stream. So that could be a total of 5 different streams, and you have to identify each stream. So for you will have to pick different streams for each term, many streams. For this lecture, however, I'm only going to provide examples for one of the streams. So to clarify, this lecture only deals with one stream, but on the actual exam, you're going to have to identify multiple streams, and you're going to have to use a different stream to illustrate each concept. Okay, we'll start here with distance decay. The stream that I'm going to use to illustrate the concept of distance decay is stream B. Now it's important when you start your answer, whenever you see letters on a map on the AP exam, it is very important to identify the letter and then be very clear about the locations that that letter represents. So here's the sample answer that I'm giving as a part of this lecture. Stream B demonstrates immigration from Mexico and Central America to the United States. So I'm using the letter and then I'm clearly identifying the locations. It's a part of the answer. This immigration stream demonstrates the principle of distance decay because of the closeness of Central America / Mexico and the United States. The distance to travel for migrants is much shorter than migrating to a place like Western Europe. Latin American migrants to the United States also tend to settle in areas closer to the border. This also demonstrates distance decay. Finally, people tend to have a better perception of place for places that are closer, again demonstrating distance decay. So you notice how I not just described the concept, but I was very clear in linking the concept to how it's actually seen played out on the ground in terms of this specific migration stream. Now you do not have to use this migration stream because there are other streams that really demonstrate the concept of distance decay as well. Stream C demonstrates it because, as we can see again, similar to stream B, migrants are traveling short distances. Additionally, stream D also demonstrates this concept. Stream C is North Africa to Western Europe, and stream D is Eastern Europe to Western Europe. There are many streams on this graphic that do not demonstrate distance decay. So those would be streams where migrants are traveling over long distances, right? They actually they are doing the opposite of demonstrating distance decay. So the streams that don't demonstrate distance decay would be stream E, stream F, and stream A. Stream A represents Asia to North America. Stream E represents the Philippines and South Asia to the Middle East, and that's usually people going for short-term guest laborer programs to Gulf states like Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Dubai, or United Arab Emirates. And finally, Stream F represents South America to Japan. Again, those are three streams that really should not be used when discussing distance decay. Moving on to the next terms, kinship, links, chain migration, and immigration wave. And I'm going to discuss all three of these terms in one example. Again, I'm going to be dealing with stream B as I did in the previous one, but a reminder, when you're taking this FRQ, you would have to use a separate stream. You've already used stream B in the example, so you would have to use a different stream. Some other possibilities to use for this one would be Asia to North America, clearly demonstrates this concept. Mexico and Central America to the United States, that's the one I'm going to use, as well as North Africa to Western Europe. All three of these really demonstrate kinship, links, chain migration, and immigration wave. Okay, so we will discuss stream B yet again. Stream B demonstrates immigration from Mexico and Central America to the United States. This immigration stream demonstrates the principle of chain migration and kinship links. So again, very straightforward in beginning my answer, making sure that I'm identifying the places as well as the terms. As immigrants go to the United States and settle, they get jobs and homes and begin to send remittances back to their families and friends. Along with these remittances comes information about the U.S. With the new information, many of their family and friends then make the decision to migrate as well. Once in the U.S., the recent immigrants will be supported by the previous immigrants with assistance in finding housing and finding jobs. These connections and support are called kinship links and act as pull factors. When enough people have contact in a destination country, these kinship links grow to become chain migration and eventually lead to a immigration wave. So I'm very clear and precise about how I'm using the language, and I'm spelling it out so that the reader will not have any issues interpreting my answer. Big part of FRQs is how clear you can define your answers. Okay, the final term that we're going to discuss are push-pull factors. What stream should you use for push-pull factors? Well, all the streams really work because they all demonstrate push-pull factors extremely well. Now, it's important that when you are identifying a stream, you need to make sure to include the letter and clearly state where immigrants are coming from and where they are going to. I can't stress how important that is. On an AP exam, if you see letters on a map, you need to be really clear about what each letter represents. Okay, so again, for stream B demonstrates immigration from Mexico and Central America to the United States. This immigration stream demonstrates push and pull factors. The primary push factors that have influenced this migration stream are economic. There is a lack of jobs and opportunity in many of these countries, especially in the rural areas. Additionally, the civil wars that occurred in the 1980s and 90s in Latin America forced many people to flee their homes. The promise of jobs, opportunities, and education acted as pull factors for Latin American migrants in coming to the United States. So, again, very clear, very simple, to the point, using the stream to clearly demonstrate understanding and examples of the concepts. So that concludes this lecture. Again, my name is Leon Sultan. I'm a teacher of AP Human Geography at Abraham Lincoln High School in San Francisco, California. And I urge anyone who's taking the AP Human Geography course or studying immigration in general to watch the film Sin Nombre. I've included a link here. It's focusfeatures.com/sin_nombre. And it's a great film, very worth watching. It does contain some adult content and themes. So be forewarned, it is rated R. But it is, again, it's an excellent piece of art from a great director. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the lecture.